The first one is an announcement about a conversation opportunity for our students who are intermediate to advanced level. It will be at the Torrance Civic Center. Well, actually, I guess it's going to be online, huh? Um, anyway, the second and last Wednesday of each month, 6 p.m. to 7:30, during the June 14th to August 30th. They'll have an opportunity to practice speaking English with others in the community in a relaxed online atmosphere. And they're going to be discussing articles that are related to current events. And they have to register through this. I'll send this to everyone. I'll send it to both all the students that I know as well as all the tutors that I know. So
And I have a request, Mary. Can you include this in the next newsletter? I'm assuming Mary's here.
Will, yes.
Yeah, it's in a flyer PDF format.
Okay.
So
I
either
will.
Laney or I can send it. If Laney's going to send it to everybody who's attended, that would be great to include in the newsletter.
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so the other thing that let's see here, that you wanted me to show was news for you. With the award that we received from, and of course it's not working, the award we received from Pro Literacy last year, we got a subscription to News for You online. And I will send you how to get to the link as well as the password associated with it. And it's similar to StoryCorps in a way, but I think the stories may not be quite as interesting. But every week they publish 7 news articles. So this is what we have for this week. Afghan refugees can stay longer in the US. Health, beware, it looks like an active tick season. World news, drug lords hippo killed in highway crash. Sports, climate change leads to more home runs, study says. And then there's an arts section usually. Russian artists secretly show anti-war art. And then animals, bunny joins California police force. And then there's a history. Did election fraud kill Edgar Allan Poe? And then they have a news roundup thing. So same thing like with StoryCorps, you got to decide which one of these you want to do. And today I did health with my student who is an advanced beginner, and this is challenging for him. The words are challenging, but I keep telling him that it's okay not to understand everything. In fact, I think the experts say if they understand about 80% of what they're reading, they're in a good spot. But there is a lot of back and forth, and we go through the vocabulary. And what this has is it does have a vocabulary list. So, for example, if you don't know what a tick is, you can just highlight there, and it's a very small insect that attaches itself to the skin of people or animals and drinks their blood. And it's kind of maybe it's a gross subject, I don't know, but he likes these animal ones, and I kind of do too. And then I'll go to Google Images and I show him what an engorged tick looks like and what it looks like on his skin, and you can find all those images in Google. The other thing that you can do here is increase the size of the text, which I really like to do especially with my beginners. And you can either hear the whole story or you can click on each sentence and it will just say the sentence.
It's tick
tick season. And
experts say ticks could be active earlier this year. Most of the U.S. had a warm winter. Ticks are more active in warmer months.
So We just recently went through a grammar of comparatives. So, you know, it was easy to pick out the words earlier and more active, and, you know, there was quite a bit of that. And I think you'll see that most of these are shorter sentences. You may not see as many idioms as you would in StoryCorps. It might be a little less advanced. But like I said, my student does have some issues with it. Other things that are in here that I would encourage you to look through is, if this interests you, is there's this tips for teachers. There's just a million different things you can do. And there is also an archive, so you can go back, you know, weeks or years and get, again, hundreds of stories. So just like with StoryCorps, finding the right story that interests both you and your student may be a challenge. On the, let's see, one thing that I know that the students that used to get the paper copies liked a lot was the crossword puzzle, and that is kind of fun to do. And there's also this word search puzzle. But every week there's also a teacher's guide. So for example, this is this week's, maybe it'll show. My computer is doing its weird stuff. Here we go. So it has some teachers guides for every story. So if I go to my tick story, it says read the story, then without looking at the story, write what you remember about how to protect yourself against ticks. Compare your answers with a partner and check your answers in the story, then talk about the discussion questions. And they actually give you some discussion questions. So if you're a lazy tutor like me, you'll use theirs. So I did ask my student, have you ever had a tick? And he hasn't, but he knew about his dogs had ticks. Do you have any experience with ticks in your area? Have you ever gotten a tick bite? What do you do to protect against bugs in the summer? What type of bugs are common in your area? So, any questions on that? I think that's pretty much, I think that's pretty much all I had to say on that. You can use the link with the password yourself, and you can also share it with your students. And so far as I know, a lot of different people can be on it. So if you wanted to share, a story with your students, you just give them the password and they can look through all the history and the archives on their own if they want to. Yeah. So it should work with both ESL and LES students. Probably is really good for LES students. I don't know, Marianne, have you had any luck using it yet? Marianne Donahue?
I like it because with my student who has been doing a lot of the readings online, but the difference between the readings online in the Reading Horizons program and the news is that the news is actively now and it's very relevant, and you create smaller pieces that are more accessible. So he can get through some of the sentences better, and it can relate to something that he's heard about because he watches the news all the time. So it seems very relevant to him. So there's a lot of high level of interest.
Yeah. And like with my student, I think the whole story was overwhelming to him. So I'll just pick out a few sentences and I don't go through the whole story. John, did you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to mention something before we close that I thought I could offer. You mentioned we have a lot of beginning students, and in the past I've mostly had intermediate students, and I've used grammar in use, which I think Jack had suggested at one of these meetings, and it's great, but you need to be able to read about English to understand it. And I had struggled with a beginning student a year or two ago with other materials, and I found this book called Basic English by Julie LaChance. and it's very basic. And in every chapter, the student is presented with a list of about 30 words to learn, to look up on their own and translate into their own language. And then very simple fill in the blank exercises using those words, starting out with the pencil is black, and in baby steps working through verb tenses and getting to irregular past tense and getting to future. But something that, one of my Ukrainian students really couldn't do much more than read the words. And she really likes it. And she's learned a lot of vocabulary, and I make up PowerPoints to quiz them on the words too, a picture of a flashlight, a picture of a tick, and she should be able to identify them from doing their homework. So again, it's called Basic English by Julie LaChance, and I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been a great meeting, great resources, which we're all always looking for. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Laney. One last quick announcement. Yes, absolutely. Maureen, I will just say, and you can add to this if you want. Maureen is ordering more flyers with the tear-off phone numbers on them to contact us. And she's ordering more bookmarks. So if anybody would like to help distribute those to places in your neighborhood that you think might be helpful to get more tutors, more students also, but we always need more tutors. So just let Maureen know, and you could stop by the office when they're completed. So Maureen, would you like to add anything?
You're muted, Maureen.
Unmute, please. Yeah.
The bookmarks have come in. I should have the flyers in probably a couple days. So yes, they can either you can send me an email and I can mail them out to you, or you can stop by the office on either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday afternoons. Myself and Marinelle usually are in the office, but please send us a quick email to let us know if you are coming by the office and about what time on what day. So we'll be sure that we are there to open the office, and so that you can pick up some supplies.
You send the flyers out by email? I mean, can you attach?
Yes, I can, of course. If you're willing to make the copies, I can send out the PDF. The flyers are more student recruitment. It's in English and Spanish, and there's a QR code and a tear off where they can actually tear off with the Spanish phone number on it to the office. And then the bookmarks are actually, if you want, we have 4 different kinds of bookmarks. One is for student, it says student, and one is for tutor on it. And then the other 3 are read, write, speak. So they're different color coded, and we've used it at different community events. We also have them distributed. We supply the Torrance Library and their branch offices so that anybody checking out books can pick up a bookmark. And so it's sort of advertising our services, so to speak. And if you're not aware, also our information meeting flyers are also put up at the Torrance Library and the branch offices. So that is advertising and promoting our information meetings online. So.
Okay, thanks. So we do not yet have our date for the July Tutors Talk, but we will let you all know as soon as we know. And hopefully we will continue to have very informative meetings. And again, thank you, Laney, and thank you, Dave, for all of the work you both put into this.
Hey, Sheila.
Yes,
Hi, it's Aaron.
yes.
I just wanted to say that if anyone wants to write an article, I can post it on our website. And I just wrote one for Color Vowel, which I've been meaning to do for a while, that I put in the chat. And so if you just go to southbayliteracy.org and click on tutor resources, you'll see a whole bunch of tips on effective teaching.
Great. Great. Thank you, Aaron, for
Sure thing.
always being diligent about that for us.
And
All
if
right,
anybody,
everyone.
if anybody has suggestions for what we should talk about at the next Tutors Talk or future Tutors Talk, let us know.
Marianne, did you?
You know what? I loved the last, the meeting that we had in, was it May? Where we went to the Torrance Library. I encouraged both of my students to get a library card. I'd like somebody to help me more with how to access those audio books. I went through a lot of them and we were trying to figure out how to open, we were just playing around with it. That one of the students, the other student, he just wants to get down to business. But the other lady, we were trying to go through, trying to open up the books where you can see the picture, the audio, and you can read it. And so we were trying to do some of the children's books, but I was, going from one thing to the next, trying to figure out how to do it. Because there's a couple of applications on there, and I didn't know which one was the best one to use. But that access to that Torrance Library is outstanding.
Great. Marianne, maybe I can suggest maybe contacting Sugandhi Bueller, who spoke at the conference.
Yes, yeah.
She's our liaison with the library, our SBLC liaison.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, Laney, do you want to send her Sugandhi's email or do you want me to?
I can send Sugandhi's email. Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be more than happy to help you.
Oh, okay.
She's a reference librarian, so definitely she knows is well versed on what the tutor and what the literacy resources are available there at the library, so she can probably be of help.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was a wonderful resource. I'm enjoying checking out the books online.
Great.
For myself.
Super.
Yeah.
Great. All right, everyone. If there's nothing else, hope to see you all in July. And again, thanks for coming. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.